Fuck. I'm going to share some real deep stuff, some personal stuff that I've been hiding from the world. And I just want to get it off my chest because you probably don't give a shit, but I really care about you judging me and all this stuff, right? And I just want to share some stuff. So here we go. So as I'm recording this, is 2022, and I had bought a property in Thailand in 2014 when I was 8 years ago. So that's when I was 26, I believe. Yeah, my second property that I'd bought in Thailand, and then basically I bought it and then rented it out for until 2021 last year. So 7 years of renting it, which is great, And then I sold it because I was like, I need to sell this shit and put money in crypto so I can increase my wealth, right? So I sold it, and then one of my close friends here, she said, she's in crypto and she's like very successful. She said, only put 20% of that money into the markets, keep the rest safe, right? And I didn't listen to her. I did not listen to her because I saw the markets going up, and I started thinking,
wow, if I put all of the money in, I could double that, and it'd be 120K, and then I can like put it into a coin and it'll 10x, and I'll be a millionaire.
Have $1 million from that investment of 60K, which was the sale of the condo. And I was like, okay. So I did it. I put all of it in. Long story short, the money went up, made lots of money on paper, right? And then it went down to, I don't know, I think it went down to like 40K or something. And then I just diamond hands, and just rode it all the way down till like, I don't know, 15, it's like 15 or 20K or something. And I was just like taking some stuff out. So basically it ended up going down to, 15K, what I just said. And now it's down to 10K. So I'm like, oh, fuck. But the lesson here is that, first of all, I didn't want to share this with the world, right? I'd share it with my close friends, but then I was in the spa the other day with one of my friends, and he said to me, share some stuff that you would only share with close friends, but share it with the world, because that's my growth area, is being vulnerable. And so something that I wouldn't want to share with the world, those are the things that usually I have to share, right? And for me, it just fits, it aligns perfectly with who I am, how I see myself, how I want to show up in the world. I want to just be real, right? So this is part of me. I'm always real, but like I don't really share like stuff in my personal life. And so that happened, and I was just clinging to the lost money, and I was clinging to the fact that I sold my condo. I was like, I shouldn't have sold it. And I was just stuck in that thing. And I spoke to one of my other friends, and she was like, how's that helping you? Staying stuck in that story. How's that helping you? And I was like, oh shit, it's not. She's like, yeah, so why are you dwelling on the money that you lost? Like, okay, you lost that money, great. Now let's move on, right? And I realized something about myself is that I dwell on the past a lot. And I was thinking to myself, where does that come from? Why do I keep dwelling on the past? Like, why do I keep focusing on the mistakes that I made instead of focusing on what I can control right now and move forward? And I was thinking to myself, I was like, it comes back from my childhood. I was brought up not to make mistakes, because when you make mistakes, you don't get what you want, right? And examples of this is in my school, like academically. I was never the smartest kid academically, but if I didn't get good grades, I would be told, you need to get good grades. AKA, don't make fucking mistakes and get good grades, right? In sports, if I'd make a mistake on the pitch, like my dad would be like shouting on the sideline, right? And I'd learn not to make mistakes. Mistakes are bad. If you make mistakes, you can't make mistakes, right? And that affected my mindset. But I read a book called Jimmy Carr, Before and After. And he said something in the book that is very pertinent to this point. And he said, at what age do you stop blaming your parents? And I love that. It's like, at what age do I stop blaming my parents for the shit that I've got, that I'm carrying, right? Like, I'm scared to make mistakes. Like, at what point do I stop blaming my mom and dad for that? That's my responsibility, right? The trauma you got is the trauma you got, but it's your responsibility to heal that trauma. Otherwise, you're going to pass it down to your kids, And unfortunately, that's what most people do. Same thing with food. Like, people pass down their unhealthy eating habits to their kids. One of the things that kills me the most when I see it is fat kids. It just pains my heart. Like, even thinking about it, I'm just like, oh God. That's why I'm like, one of the main reasons why I do what I do with health coaching. It's like, adults need to be educated on nutrition. Most people don't understand, even when they're 50 years old, like 45 years old, they don't understand food. It's like,
You've been living for 45 years and you have no idea how food's affecting your body? What?
but this is the world we live in, right? This is why I have a job. And all this stuff I'm talking about now is also what I coach on as well, like the self-discovery, like the inner work, right? So figuring out where your patterns come from, healing those, and then moving forward. So how can moving forward from mistakes, like mistakes I made in my past? This is a big thing for me, is to know that if I'm making mistakes, I've reframed it. Like, so now I'm like, if I'm making mistakes, I'm doing a good job. I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If I'm not making mistakes, then I'm fucking up. That's what I tell myself now. So like, I'll do a video. Like, I just made a video here and I didn't record it. This is good because I'm making mistakes. I'm learning new things, right? In jiu-jitsu, when I first started training jiu-jitsu, I'd make mistakes and then I'd beat myself up and I'd have a shit day because I made one mistake in jiu-jitsu and I got tapped, right? And then I would just think about that for the whole damn day and allow that one mistake to ruin my whole day because I was just dwelling on the past. Again, that habit, right? And so I've learned now to change my mindset. Like, I learned from Floyd Mayweather. He was like, I had a terrible training day today. It wasn't good. But tomorrow's a new day. And tomorrow I'm going to have a great training day. So that's it. I'm going to do my best tomorrow. And then that's how I'm rolling. And so I love that mindset, that reframe. It's like, I had a bad training session. All right, cool. Tomorrow I'm going to have a great training session. And if tomorrow's not a great training session, I'm going to have a great one tomorrow, the next day. You know, and that mindset really helps me with training jiu-jitsu because it's fucking hard and it's enjoyable, but it's also challenging. And I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. And it's just like, okay, learn from it and move on. Not dwell on the past and beat myself up for making a mistake. And that's something that's really helped me in my life. So, yeah, what else am I going to talk about? Oh, relationships. So in COVID, I was in a relationship with this girl who was like 9 years older than me. And yeah, I really like her. She's amazing. I think she's great. But unfortunately, she hasn't healed parts of herself. And I haven't either. So it's like we're both in this relationship. And my default in a relationship, based on like how I was raised and what I learned about life, is I overgive in a relationship. And it's not good because I grow resentments when I don't receive that love back. Right? So if I'm going to give you so much, I expect something back. And I later learned that that's actually a form of manipulation, right? I didn't know this, of course. I was just like, I'm giving from the love of my heart. But actually, I'm wanting to receive something back. So I'm not just giving to give, right? And that's a pattern that's been in my relationships, especially this last one. And her pattern is when she gets triggered, she just shuts down. And that really triggers me. Like, nothing triggers me as much as that, because it's like the fear of abandonment, right? It's like lack of connection. She just shuts down and she doesn't say anything. And yeah, like, it's always my fault. Another thing, like, she doesn't notice, but anyway, I don't think she's gonna be watching this video, but she's like a narcissist, right? And I didn't actually know exactly the traits of a narcissist before I got in a relationship with her. But how I describe it, being in a relationship with a narcissist is like being you don't realize it. You're like a fish in water, but the fish only realizes that it was in water when it's taken out. And that was like me. I didn't know why I was losing my confidence, why I was like losing my sense of self in the relationship. And it's because I just felt unappreciated. I had this pain in the middle of my back. And there's this book that I recommend you get. It's called Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. And I had this pain in my upper back, right? It wasn't the pain, it was just like tightness. Like, even now it's gone, it's completely gone, right? But it was just constant tightness I had for months. Actually, the whole duration of our relationship. And she's not a bad person, right? I'm just sharing my side of things. And just for my own self and for you watching, if you're listening, if you're watching, whatever. And in the book, it says upper back tightness is a lack of feeling loved. And I was like, holy shit, that's exactly how I feel, like unappreciated. I felt unappreciated and unloved by her in the relationship. And of course, that was partly my own doing by overexerting myself and expecting something back from someone who's not going to give it. And yeah, it was just a sad thing, right? It's like, wow, I just allowed myself to just hurt myself, basically, by being with someone who also I didn't see a long-term future with, but the reason I reflect on this, I'm like, why was I with her? I was like, oh, she has a lot of the values that I really value in a woman. Like she's a yoga teacher, right? So she's like really into her yoga, and she's like really got high standards for herself, and I like that in a woman. So I like that she values her health very much, and I love that. That's really important to me, to be with someone who values their health, because I value my health a lot, clearly, as you can see. And also she's very attractive. She's got obviously a nice body, and she speaks another language, which for me is important. I like to learn about new cultures and have new experiences. And yeah, she's very focused, and she loves adventure, which I also love. And she loves like living a simple life, which I thought I wanted. And I do live a simple life, but I actually want to grow. Like she values growth, right? Which is huge for me. I value growth a lot. But the growth in where the vision for her growth and my growth was different. So like our visions didn't align, right? So where we're going in life wasn't aligned, because she's cool. Like she's found her lane and she's just staying there, and she wants to grow within her what she's doing, but it's like a gradual thing, right? Whereas for me, I'm like, I want to fucking conquer the world, right? Like I want to go big and go big. And she doesn't like the whole influencer thing, and it was just the visions weren't aligned, right? So I stayed in it even though I knew this. And yeah, some of our values weren't aligned either. So this is why relationships fail, because your vision and your values don't align, you know? And I didn't know that until I was in that last relationship. So I just want to share that, and I could go more into detail, but I don't want to bore you with too many details of the relationship. But yeah, I'm an empath. So that's another thing, is the communication was a challenge, because I like dialogue. I value this, again, values, right? I value dialogue back and forth, not just one-sided. But I found myself just listening to her shit every fucking day. And I swear it, because it's like, I allowed myself to listen to her, because I'm like, oh, if I don't listen to her, I'm a bad person, right? And actually it was like, she wasn't caring about, well, I shouldn't say that. Her way of communicating is different than mine. So where I'm more like communicative, and I'd verbalize like, what are you feeling right now? How are you feeling? What happened? Like I'd ask questions. She doesn't ask many questions. She just talks, right? And she expects you to just talk if there's something on your mind. But that's not really how I dialogue with people. I like to be asked questions, then I talk, right? Sometimes I'll say stuff just randomly, but you know, it's funny I'm talking about this now. It's like, I didn't know that I valued dialogue until I got with her, and I was like, fuck, this feels weird. Like, but then when the woman I had a big emotional connection with, she's not here now, but she's not in Bali, but like it was just, she was really interested in me, and I really value that, because I guess from a child I didn't really have anyone that was really interested in me and verbally giving me like words of affirmation. So one of my love languages is words of affirmation and quality time. Those are my top two. So I really value that, especially words of affirmation. But I realized after hiring a relationship coach a couple of years ago that 3 years ago now, I have to give the things I want from my partner to myself. And so words of affirmation, like I have to support myself. Like support was a big thing I wanted from a partner, to feel supported. And that's something I can give myself, and I have to give myself. So yeah, I'm digressing a little bit, but if you're still watching and still listening, thank you very much. I appreciate your attention. So let's talk about boundaries. Yeah, boundaries is a big problem for me, because I'm that guy that says yes to everything. And before, that was a huge bonus for me, because I would get access to new opportunities and new adventures by saying yes. But eventually I wasn't watering my own grass. So I was going to other people's grasses, and they would invite me here and there and there. It was great, but I wasn't taking care of my own world. So my own world was falling apart, and I was still saying yes to other people. And I reflect on that now. I'm like, why would I just keep saying yes? You know, like, the belief was other people are more important than me. And that's a really hard belief to swallow. But that was the truth. Like, oh, I'm not important enough to focus on myself. Therefore, I have to just say yes to this person because their time's worth more than mine. They're more important than me. And that's a subconscious belief. I didn't fucking realize that until recently. I was like, shit, I actually believed that for a long time. But now I'm like, no, I'm more important than other people because I'm myself. Like, the most important relationship is the one I have with myself. That's facts. That's facts. Facts. And so I need to make sure that I'm good before I go and put myself out into the world. And so now it's still a challenge for me. I'm not going to lie. It's still a challenge of like, fuck, how do I say no to this person without feeling bad about myself or like letting them down? It's like, if I got a choice between letting myself down or letting you down, I'm going to let you down because my self-worth, my confidence is more important than what you think of me. And that it still is a big lesson to learn in life, is if there's a choice of letting someone else down and choosing yourself, choose yourself. Because when you choose others over yourself, what you're doing is you're just like chipping away at your self-esteem. You're just cutting away. You're cutting away at it. You're like taking a bit out of your self-esteem, your confidence. And then you keep doing that, and then you got an empty cup and you got nothing to give. And then you feel lost in life. Don't know who you are. So this is something that I'm very aware of now. I'm like, I need to bring my energy in for myself. And in fact, I just got done with an interview with Adrian. You can check it out on the podcast, Adrian Nichols. And he went 12 months in monk mode, which basically means no Netflix, no Facebook, and just literally hardcore work and gym. That was it for 12 months. And no socializing, just monk mode. And he's making more money than he's making lots of money now. And his whole life is back on track from when he came to Bali and had $10 to his name. And now he's making like multiple six figures a year. So he turned his life around because he just went monk mode and he just said no to all the things that weren't the main thing. And that's a place that I'm getting to, and that is what's required to win, you know, like sacrificing. And because short-term satisfaction doesn't bring long-term happiness. Short-term pain bring long-term gain, right? So short-term pain is what is needed. Like if it's painful and you know on the other side of it, you're going to be successful, because if you go through that pain, the other side is success. That's what you need to be doing. Delaying gratification is one of the keys to succeeding in life. And that is something that I'm very aware of now. I'm 33 years old. And like most people that I speak to on the phone, I thought I'd be further ahead by now. I should be further ahead. Like, I'm 33. I should be further ahead. I should have a family already. Like, you know, I was talking to my dad the other day and he was like, when are you going to have kids? And I was like, shit, like, I never actually expected him to say anything like that. Now I'm like, are you putting pressure on me? Like, what's going on here? He's like, when am I going to have grandkids? I'm like, whoa. I don't find any problem with my timeline, right? But maybe others will. I love my dad. Nothing bad to say about him. But what I know to be true about life is that people project their own situation onto you, because we're all mirrors for each other, right? So in that moment, it's like Jay-Z said, my uncle said I never sold 1 million records. I sold 1 million records like 1 million times. Like his uncle told him, you can't sell 1 million records. You're never going to sell 1 million records. But that was his uncle projecting onto Jay-Z his insecurities or his fears or his beliefs. Jay-Z, luckily for Jay-Z and luckily for us, for humanity, that we can talk about him and then be inspired by him, he didn't take that on to be true for him. He's like, no, I'm going to sell 1 million records. And then he sold 1 million records like 1 million times, you know? So be aware of that. Like, I notice now that when my dad said that to me, I'm like, that's not my stuff. I don't have to own that. That's not what I believe to be true about my situation. Like, I believe I'm going to find the woman of my dreams. Like, that's the belief of mine. I'm not worried about it, because the better I become as a man, the higher quality woman I'm going to attract. The best gift you can give to others is to become the best version of yourself. So for me, I know that innately. Like, I feel it. I'm like, I'm doing all the things that I want to do that I know is going to help me become a high value man, more than I already am. I'm in the top 1% of men already. Like, most men don't look like me, right? And that's just not me bragging. That's just facts. Like, all my ex-girlfriends who have got new partners, they're all fucking fat guys. So I know straight away, like, I am, like, my mind is clear. I'm in shape. Like, I do jiu-jitsu. I do boxing. Like, I'm in the top 1%. Like, I can speak clearly. I'm not afraid to put myself out there on camera. I'm confident. Like, I know what I got going for me, right? I speak Thai, not just English. You know, I've lived all over the world. Like, I know what my value is. When I'm in a relationship, I treat them well and I connect emotionally on a deep level, really understand them. Like, I know what I bring to the table. And so I'm not worried about attracting my partner. I know how to attract women. It's easy for me. I'm not worried about it, you know? So when my dad said that, it was just like, that's not my stuff, you know? And I actually haven't shared this with him, but if he's watching this, he's going to probably laugh, you know? But yeah, that's just me. Like, I just want to be real, you know? I just want to share. Like, there's so many things that I've been hiding in my life that I just want to come out in the open and just share, you know? Because, you know, doing this podcast has made me realize that we all struggle with the same shit. But it's like David Goggins said. He said, everyone's hiding, and they're hiding. Some people hide so well that you think that they're better than you. It's fucking crazy. Like, I literally believe that, because this guy is a multimillionaire, he's a better person than me. Where did that belief come from? He just has more money than me. That's literally it. Like, he just has more money than me. That's it. That does not make him a better person than me. My character traits, the person I am, how you feel after you've interacted with me in person or watched me on video. Like, this is who I am, right? And this is irreplaceable with money. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, again, I was coaching a guy on this, right? He was like, I treat people differently based on how much money they have. And I was like, that's interesting, because I used to do that until I realized early on, luckily for me, that people with lots of money are just people with problems and fears and dreams and hopes. Like, we're all the same, really. Everyone thinks we're so different, but actually we're just mostly the same. You know, like that guy with a lot of money that you're thinking is different than you, he's shit scared of losing it. So he has the same fear as you. He just got more money than you. You're also scared of losing money, but he's even more scared of losing money because he's got more of it. So is he actually happier? And not to shit on money, like, money is fucking great. I love money. And again, that's another thing. Like, people who say the love of money is the root of all evil. No, it's not. You just haven't made enough of it. You know, like 50 Cent has a quote. He says, if the money hasn't changed you, you just haven't made enough. It's like, wow, that's so true. Like, that's so true. And what was I talking about? I was digressing a lot. Talking about money. Oh, that's it. People. How you are as a person is the main thing. Like, your character goes with you wherever you go. Like, when you meet someone new, you talk about their character, right? Like, how they were, how they interacted with you. Were they curious about you? Were they telling stories? Were they cracking jokes? Like, you know, what's their character like? And this precedes you. This goes everywhere. This is your brand, okay? And this is something I'm very acutely aware of. And so this is why I just want to, like, I tell my friends this all the time. I'm like, I want to blend the Aaron that's offline to the Aaron that's online. And this right now, this is who I am. Like, if you meet me offline, we'll have the same conversation like this. And so this is how I know I'm in my integrity. This is how I know I'm in alignment. Like, I'm energized doing this video. I'm not drained by doing this. And so if you're watching this far, like, again, this is another thing, self-esteem, right? Self-issues. So, like, I was about to say, if you're watching this far, wow, thank you so much. But, like, nah, you should be watching this far. This is fucking good shit, you know? It's like a different reprogramming of the self-esteem. Like, nah, this is good. Like, I'm spitting facts. I'm spitting fire right now. And you should be watching because this is fucking good shit, you know? So that's how I'm thinking. And it's not, you can interpret that how you want. However you interpret what I just said is how you view yourself. Because I'm confident in myself. So I'm confident enough to say that because, shit, man, I'm putting in work over here, man. I'm putting in that work. So, you know, I'm getting better at my craft, and that's what lights me up, like improvement, progress, right? It's funny, I got some words on the board there, so I'm just spitballing, right? So boundaries is a big one, like how to say no. Like, how do you say no without being an asshole? And even that, like, where does that come from, that belief of being an asshole? Like, diving deeper into that, you know, like, language is so important. Like, I used to gloss over language and just say shit. But actually, when you say stuff, you're casting spells on yourself. So, like, how to not be an asshole? Well, first of all, what's bad about being an asshole, right? And then going into that, you know, and like, okay, when was the time that you were an asshole? That what happened, you know? And this is kind of coaching what I do with my clients. So we get them clear on their language, like what are they saying to themselves and why is this an issue? It wasn't recording on the video, but it's okay. I'm going to post this on the podcast. So, yeah, fuck. See that? Big mistake, but just keep rolling. Like, I'm recording this in my studio right now, and I thought the camera was recording. Maybe it was, maybe it just stopped. But yeah, like, man, that's a big mistake, but I can't dwell on that. I just got to keep it rolling, right? So if you're enjoying this, by the way, let me know on Instagram at @TheRealDarko. Or you can leave me a review on this podcast. Leave me a goddamn review. All right, thank you very much. Anyway, let's go to the next topic of speaking up. So speaking up is something that I have had lots of issues with in my life. Like, just saying stuff that is on my mind that bothers me. Because usually if something bothers me, I wouldn't say anything. And where does that come from? That comes from my childhood, of course. So speaking up and really focusing on expressing how I feel is something that has taken me a lot of work and a lot of effort. And it's still, to this day, not the most comfortable thing in the world for me, right? And it's just a process of getting to that place where I'm comfortable expressing without feeling bad about the other person's feelings. So that's where it comes from, right? It's like accepting, taking on other people's feelings and being responsible for them. It's like, I'm not responsible for telling you the truth about how I feel and how you feel about that. Like, I'm not responsible for how you feel about me sharing how I feel about the situation or you or whatever. And so that's been something that really I've had to dive deep into and get clear on for myself. And like, what's the implications of this? Why don't I want to speak up? What would happen if I speak up? Oh, the fear would be I'd lose friends. If I say how I really feel, I would lose friends. And okay, what's bad about losing friends? I'd be alone. Okay, what's bad about being alone? Actually, there's nothing bad about being alone because I came into this world alone and I'm going to leave alone. And I'm never alone because I've got my family. And if I got my family and no one else, that's enough, you know? Like, of course, I want a partner and stuff, but, you know, I'm never actually going to be fully alone like I think I am in my mind. And so it's just like one of them things where I think black and white and go in extremes and think that I'm going to fucking die because I lost this friend because I shared how I felt. It's like, who fucking cares? You're not going to die because you lost a friend, you know? Like, you have to honor yourself more than anything. And this is advice to myself right now. It's like, you know, speaking up is really important because if you don't if you don't speak up, then the emotions that you're carrying toward this person or towards this event, they don't just dissipate. Like, unexpressed emotions get stored in the body. There's a book by Bessel van der Kolk. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. And basically the summary of that book is like, the issues are in the tissues, right? So like, whatever emotions don't get expressed get stuck in your body and they manifest themselves into health issues. This is why like a lot of people who have health problems, like that's just emotions unexpressed being stored in their body and they manifest in like chronic health issues. Emotions is super important and that's a massive topic, but speaking up and expressing how you feel helps you process the emotion and feel it, you know, like and that's another thing. Feeling an emotion is something that especially men don't really do, is like feeling that emotion, because we are told that it's girly to do that, but it's actually not. So expressing yourself and, you know, learning how to release your emotions and feel them, that's how you release them, is by feeling them, right? So one of the ways I do that is do breath work. So here in Bali, I'm fortunate enough to have access to Breathwork Bali with Edward Dangerfield, who did a podcast here. You can go and check it out on the Aaron Darko show, which you're listening to. And he did a podcast, and it was amazing. It was all about breath work and the power of the breath, and how breath work can help you feel your emotions and release your emotions and release trauma in the body. And it's amazing how, you know, the power of your breath can access these deep states in your subconscious mind and help you release a lot of the emotional baggage that we're carrying around. So yeah, this is a quick rant, and I want to just leave that there. Again, just want to share with you, I'm still mad at myself for messing up the recording of this on video, but this is life, you know. We make mistakes. So literally, to my point that I shared earlier on this, it's like, all right, I'm snapping out of it now, and I'm not going to dwell on that mistake. I'm just going to roll with it, post this as a podcast episode, and see what comes of it. All right. So yes, I'm not going to do this again, because it's 31 minutes of great value. And if you're listening right now to these words that are coming out of my mouth, I just want to tell you that you're my kind of people. And if you want to go deeper with myself on yourself and going into your shit, like I've been sharing my shit literally just now, then go to The Real Darko on Instagram and hit me up, and let's set up a time to talk, and we can, you know, I can coach you through some stuff and give you a powerful coaching session for free. And then after that, if you want to continue working with me, then we can do that. But yeah, it's just open-ended. If you want to have a chat, there's something on your mind, if you're struggling with something right now, and you want to talk to someone who can listen, who knows how to hold space for you and let you talk and let you get out whatever you need to say, because, you know, that's a gift that I give people as well. I'm really passionate about this. Like, it's probably my biggest passion in life is everyone needs psychological air. Like, everyone needs to express themselves, right? And it's interesting to me because one of the things I've learned by doing the podcast is that people love to talk, but oftentimes other people don't know how to listen to us. So then we go ahead and don't express ourselves fully. And again, like I was just saying about speaking up, that goes and causes issues with our health. Because if we're not expressing ourselves fully, what's going to happen is it's going to stay stuck in the body, and we're going to have problems. Like, for example, some people who don't speak up have throat issues. They have throat health problems because they don't speak up for themselves, right? And some people who, you know, they feel it in their stomach. They have stomach issues, or they have like appendix issues. Like, all of this can be linked back to emotional problems, right? Health problems are not just health problems. They're emotional a lot of the time. Okay, so expressing yourself is really important. So if you feel like you need to express yourself, like you are going through some shit right now and you don't know like what the cause is, you don't know how to get through it, whatever it may be, you know, it could be with your body, it could be with your health, or it could be just with, you know, your interpersonal relationships. Like, you're not speaking up, people are walking all over you, you don't have boundaries, you don't have any self-belief, you have low self-esteem. All of these issues that I've been working through for the last 4 years to master myself. I can help you with them because I've been through all this shit. So if you want help with that, and that's something that sounds like something that's right up your street and you need it right now, if you're feeling called to this, go ahead and message me on the real Darko on Instagram, and let's chat. Let's have a conversation. All right. So again, if you've been listening thus far, thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.